Hey! I'm sure someone explained it to you before. Though this is a little different, of course.
I really gotta deal with this shit again.
What's up, gamers? Oops here. Just climbing another mountain again. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel. I wanted to put a quick disclaimer that there might be some minor spoilers here. I've done my best to kind of avoid putting any sort of major cutscenes or major story elements into this video, but watch at your own risk, you know. I'm somebody who doesn't like to have things spoiled. I don't like to have things spoiled for me, and so I was actually somebody who didn't watch any of the promotional materials for this game. And after I beat the game, I went and looked at some of the promotional materials that they had out there, and I was flabbergasted by how much was given away, how many plot points were given away in the trailers for this game. I was really quite surprised, and I was very glad that I didn't, engage with these trailers as they were being released, because in some ways, I think it might have changed my overall experience, and I was really, really happy with the way that the things played out for me, because a lot of the things that I might have maybe been able to piece together through the trailers were fresh and new for me during my playthrough. So everything is sacred. Do yourself a favor if you don't want to see anything that's, gonna give things away for you. Like this clip right here, this might be a spoiler. This is one of the things that I was thinking of when I was trying to say, like, there might be some light spoilers, but for the most part, by and large, I'm hoping to keep this watchable for just about anybody. So if you're here for like a quick recommendation, this is definitely as close to a 10 out of 10 as a game can get. I think that the game looks amazing, it runs super smooth, the storytelling, the acting, the music, sound design, everything is absolutely top-notch. It really kind of pushes the bounds of what a next generation game should be. This is one of the first games that I've felt like is truly next gen when it comes to the current console generation that we're in. Absolutely amazing experience from beginning to end. I'm actually doing a second playthrough already, where I'm going to try playing it offline mode. But there are just these moments that happen along the way that are... there's no other word for me to describe it other than beautiful. And I think that's one of the things that I appreciate the most about Death Stranding, is that there's things that happen in the game that are kind of counterintuitive to the way that some of us may usually play games. Like, this is a perfect example of, like, I'm traveling to my destination, I'm using a vehicle, I'm driving fast, but then they play a song for me, a song that I haven't heard yet, and it makes me want to take my time with this stretch of the journey. And I think that that's just something so special. There are also just so many references to things inside the game that are, like, things that are happening in real life. Art and music and movies and video games. And it's really kind of cool. This character here is known as the Adventurer, but he's modeled after an Indian filmmaker named S.S. Rajamouli. And so if you don't know about S.S. Rajamouli and his films, then you might not understand this reference, but this is a reference to a film called RRR, fantastic film, and it was just really kind of cool to see this character put into a video game. And there's so many other references in this game. The game has this level of self-awareness to it that I just find incredibly charming. There are these moments along the way where the characters will kind of comment on the situation that they're in, almost breaking the fourth wall, and it's just something that I really love. I love that the game's not afraid to be a game.
By the way, I get the feeling there may be a long cutscene in the near future. You ready for that? Are you sure?
It leans into the fact that this is a video game. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And it's also a game that really kind of demands that you slow down and that you kind of give your time to it. And so those sorts of things, they can be kind of polarizing. That might be the thing that draws you to this game, and it might be the thing that pushes you away. I wanted to provide some examples of some of the things that I came across during my playthrough. Maybe you could call these the negatives, but there's really so few here that it's almost not worth devoting this much time to it. But I had one time along the way where I got disconnected from the online servers. Not a big deal. I was able to just go and reconnect shortly after. Here, I found myself getting kind of stuck in a rut, but this is definitely my own fault. And I was also able to, wiggle myself out of this one. So, not too bad. I did have a couple of instances where some of the enemies, sometimes they would go from being inside of a tent to being on top of the tent. I'm not sure exactly what causes this, but this happened probably 3 or 4 times. It could be, one of those things that is immersion breaking for you, but for me it wasn't too big of a deal. Now this one, this is a personal thing, but if you saw there, when you go to pick up a package, there's usually this sort of light coming off of it. And I'm somebody who doesn't play with markers on, so I kind of rely on that strand of light, whether it's blue, green, or gold, to find my packages. And sometimes I notice it's a little bit inconsistent, especially with the packages that I actually need to collect. So that's a little bit frustrating, but that's me being kind of nitpicky, and that's also based on the fact that I'm playing with a limited HUD. And then this last example, something got caught up on top of the zip line that I was hoping to keep with me. Little things like that, kind of small technical issues, but this is over the course of an 120-hour playthrough, and I came across, a handful of things that I could kind of say qualify as marks against the game. But overall, man, incredible experience. With the first game, I recently did a Death Stranding 1 video, and one of the things that came to mind was if I had to sum that game up into one word, I would say it's a game about connection. And so I was thinking, if I had to sum up Death Stranding 2 into one word, I think I would have to go with empathy. I don't know that there's necessarily another game out there that has made me feel such an empathetic connection to not only the character that I was playing, but also the supporting cast of characters. And it's really kind of unique in that sense, where this game is able to kind of emulate the way that somebody might be feeling through the gameplay. And I think that that's really something special. Now, because there's so much of this game that is just traveling from one destination to the next, there is a lot of walking, but I would by no means consider this a walking simulator. But having, if you haven't actually played the game before and you're just watching it, it might look kind of simplistic, but how could I kind of toy with the idea of what's happening, the travel that's happening, and maybe putting it in reverse makes it a little bit foreign, makes it a little bit alien to us. So that was something that I was toying with, but along the way I kind of realized that sometimes there will be these shots that you don't necessarily know that the shot's in reverse until it kind of clicks with you. And I think that sort of realization of something happening, like something it's been in front of you the whole time, but it's been obfuscated so that you didn't necessarily notice it until they wanted to reveal it to you, is kind of like a thematic element that happens throughout these sorts of games. There's something that I've come to appreciate with video games, and really kind of the artistic elements to everything. This is such a massive collaborative work that so many people have had a hand in creating, and then it's being delivered to us to experience, and we're all going to have vastly different experiences and takeaways and connections to the story and the character and the world and everything like that, that it really is something much more than just a game.
Sorry.
Alright, sorry if I got you with the jump scare. But that was pretty eerie, pretty creepy, right? And so, if you didn't know that that was being played in reverse, and you thought that that's what the game delivers to you, you might be like, what the? This is kind of creepy. This is, you know, there's almost something haunting about it. The idea of something, you know, being distorted, being reversed or mirrored or whatever it might be. And so I thought that it was just kind of fun to toy around with some of those ideas in the editing process of making this video, because I have, at the end of the day, I have like 100 gigabytes worth of video clips from this 100-hour journey that I've been on, and it's really, it can be kind of difficult to you know, pare all of that down into just a 15 minutes worth of footage for me to kind of talk over and provide my thoughts on. But it's one of those things that I really kind of enjoy the process of doing, going back and in some ways re-experience some of these moments. In a lot of ways, it's like a digital photo album that I get to keep for myself. I'm taking all of these collected memories of moments that were special or impactful to me, and I get to save them for later. I get to come back and reminisce on this journey that I had, you know, years from now. And that's something that I find really valuable, but it also gives me an opportunity to share this experience with all of you. And maybe there are things that you connect with about, you know, what I'm saying or what I'm showing, or maybe this will just pique your interest and encourage you to check out Death Stranding 2 for yourself. Either way, it's a fun way to connect with this medium that I love. I think this is kind of where I'm gonna wrap things up. I didn't really know, I don't script out my videos. I just kind of sit down and try to say what's on my mind, say what's on my heart. And so I appreciate you if you've been here, if you've enjoyed this video. I thank you for that and for your time. I hope that things are going well for you. And if you haven't already, I definitely recommend checking out Death Stranding 2, because I think it's an incredible game that you don't want to miss.
Take care of each other.
I have been and always will be Coobs. Peace and love, gamers.